Dan Mazengarb joins us on the show today. Dan, welcome firstly.
It's nice to speak with you again, Di.
Yeah, it's been a while. So let's talk about the current economic situation, because I'm pretty sure I saw something even yesterday where it looks to be crawling out of a recession.
Yeah, that's right. And I think the new GDP figures were out yesterday or today. Look, you'll see that the OCR has really dropped significantly as the Reserve Bank is trying to kickstart the economy again and get businesses spending again, consumers spending again. So yes, we are at that kind of turning point, but people are still doing it really hard out there. Whether you're a business or a charity, people still feel a bit tight in the pocket. So we're not out of the woods yet, but the long-term forecast is looking good. Although I would caveat that with the question marks around the sort of the geopolitical tensions out there that could throw a spanner in the works.
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, look, who knows what the future will bring. But in the meantime, we are in this economic situation. So these tougher times coupled with this proposed charity tax change, and it is a proposal at this stage. What do you think this impact, or what kind of impact could that have on charities, and thinking of churches around the country?
Yeah, look, it's a really good question because it's important to dispel some myths and make sure that we're clear on what may or may not happen. The purpose of the consultation paper is really targeting large charities with business like income. So it's the sanitariums that people keep talking about. I guess so. I think for the average church who is mainly reliant on tithes, it's not at this stage going to impact that. So I think we can breathe a bit of a sigh of relief that they're not talking about removing the charitable status for churches. So that's really positive. However, if you are a church or a charity that is reliant on a much larger parent body, that does have a business income profile. So you have maybe a charity that's got investments somewhere, maybe it owns some commercial property or a business, and the idea is that that organization makes money and then distributes that down to a church or a smaller charity. Then the question mark over that is, should that profit from the head body be taxed? And so, yes, if you are one of those organizations that is a receiver of that kind of income, then there would be a significant headway as sort of the tax takes its cut from what you receive.
So, yeah, I mean, let's sort of go back to these tougher economic times and the effects that perhaps it is having on charities. Maybe giving is down. People simply can't give in their current situation. So what does that mean for charities now, and what do they do?
Yeah, look, even though the proposed tax changes, the bigger issue is trying to attack the bigger end of town. The other issues within the paper will have some impact on charities if they do go through. So it's a real hard time to receive that kind of news when a lot of charities I know that I speak to are doing it tough. I mean, just yesterday I was talking to the chair of quite a significant Christian charity in New Zealand that most of us would know. And he said, yeah, we're getting half of what we usually get from our regular donors. And that has been echoed when I've had conversations with other charities in our sector, that they are doing it tough. So to then have to get their head around proposed tax changes and try and figure out what impact that has on them is not great timing. So it is tough out there, and it's a time for us to be thinking about how we give to our charities, how we support them, but also if you are a charity, you run a charity, how are you going to build some resilience to keep you going through these tougher times with different government policy settings? It is a hard job out there for those who are running charities at the moment.
And I'm sure you guys have some thoughts on this one. I guess to look at perhaps someone who sometimes gives to charities, myself, and those who are listening included, then what does it mean for how we support our churches and those charities that are close to our heart? I mean, perhaps do we look at how we do it, maybe differently, maybe given another way?
Yeah, look, I think communicating with the charities that you donate to, if you have to reduce those donations, is really important, because obviously these charities are planning ahead and making budgets based on past performance, and so having that line of communication is really helpful. Being consistent, and if you do have to drop it back, just continuing to give in some way is still better than nothing. But I think it is really hard. And I think that the onus and their creativity is probably more on the charity side. I mean, what can charities do to operate more efficiently and bring in new sources of income? And I think this is one of the things that we're going to submit on to the government with the ID paper, is to say, hey, look, if we want our charities to innovate and generate diverse income streams, so it's not all reliant on Di's back pocket, it's we're going to need to make sure that the tax settings allow that innovation and allow what they call unrelated business income, and for that not to be taxed.
Dan, this is really interesting stuff, and of course the work that you do there at Christian Savings, really good as well. It sounds like charities are talking with you already. You know, what is it going to look like? What is the future going to bring? If someone's listening in today and they're like, well, yeah, Christian Savings, this sounds like a really interesting place to contact, to get some advice from, to find out more about. How do they do so today?
Well, we've got a new website. So go onto our new fancy website, christiansavings.nz. Have a look at what we do, what we offer, and how we can help. And, one of the best things to do is just to walk in and meet with one of our staff, or give us a call, send us an email. We love engaging with the public, with stakeholders, with clients. So check us out online, christiansavings.co.nz.
Dan, it's so much fun to speak with you. Thanks again for being a part of today's show, and I look forward to catching up with you again at some stage.
Thanks, Di.
Thanks for joining us on Rhema. Now, if you found value in today's content, hit that like button. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to our channel with the subscribe button. This really helps us to continue to produce more quality content for you. And hey, if you'd like to stay updated and never miss any of our future videos, ring that notification bell as well. Don't forget to follow us on our other socials, which are in the description below. And until then, stay tuned.